there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we are on the beautiful turquoise water islands of Turks and Caicos for what you should know before you come to Turks and Caicos. Because I'll be honest, this place, the beaches here, are gorgeous. The water, crystal clear turquoise. I mean, it's so beautiful that the turquoise actually reflects back up in the clouds when there are clouds here. I mean, it is just gorgeous here. But the thing is if you're going to be coming to Turks and Caicos, you might want to know is, hey Mark, what should I know before I get there so I can get the most out of my visit? And that's what we're going to talk about today. But the first thing I want to talk about is the first thing people go like, Mark, where is Turks and Caicos? Like, isn't that one of those Caribbean islands? There's the islands somewhere down in there. Yes, this is one of the islands down in there. But the thing is, if you want to look at it, if you've got Cuba and kind of Haiti, Hispaniola Island, like Turks and Caicos is just north of those, like kind of between those two and a bit north. Easy to get to from the US. It's a short flight from Atlanta or New York or whatever. And there are a lot of flights to come here, so that's not a problem. But I will want you to know is this is not the Caribbean. This is actually the Atlantic out here. Well, actually, this is Grace Bay, but it's the Atlantic you're in. So it is a bit different than if you're going to like the Caribbean islands, but it's still fantastic in terms of that respect, okay? Now, the second thing people have asked me when I said we're going to Turks and Caicos, they're like, hey, do I need a visa to go there? Look, if you're from the US, Canada, the European Union, things like that, you do not need a visa to come here. You just come here and enjoy. This is a beach and relax visit. Nothing else, just beach, relax, repeat. Beach, relax, repeat. That's what you're doing when you are here. And the thing is if you're looking at the beach stuff you're gonna do here, like we're here on Grace Bay. And if you go here, you can go out conch diving. You know the conch shells, you'll see them all over the island. You'll eat them as well. Not the shells, but the mollusk that's inside. You can go diving down for conch and get that to take it home. You can go, I mean, there's parasailing, there's all kinds of tubing, there's all kinds of great water sports you can do here. You wanna go sailing? You can hire guys off the beach to take you out sailing. There's so many cool water things to do here, but probably the most important one and the best one to do is you need to realize that Turks and Caicos has the third largest barrier reef in the world. So this is a fantastic place to go snorkeling, to go scuba diving and things like that, because you can go out there and there's tons of tours that'll do that. You know, you can go with your kids, you can go if you're a big swimmer. If you're not a great swimmer, they'll give you the little buoy kind of thing and stuff like that. So you can see, I mean, my wife and I talked about all the parrotfish we saw and stuff like that, and it was really cool doing the snorkelings on the reef. But the thing is, if you don't want to go out on the reef, if you're here in Providenciales, the capital, if you want to go down to the Coral Garden, it's actually, you don't have to like take a boat out. You can just go out and see tons of fish there. There's just tons and tons of outdoor activities when you are here. We were at Iguana Island, yes, with all the iguanas on it, and you see them like fighting each other and stuff like that. We were there as well, and it's really kind of a cool thing. But one thing I want you to know is if you're coming to Turks and Caicos, people say, Mark, how do I get there? Well, there's two ways that most tourists come here. Most tourists actually come on a cruise, and they go to Grand Turk, which is the very eastern part of Turks and Caicos. That's a Turk island, and this is one of the Caicos Islands here where you are in Providenciales. If you're flying in, you're flying into Providenciales, Provo. That's where you're going to be, and they're kind of far apart. And if you want to get around to the different islands, you're going to have to take a ferry or take a flight to go to these different places. So you might want to consider that when you're looking for your accommodation, where you're going to stay, because just like, oh, let's go to Grand Turks because that's what I read about. Well, yeah, you go to Grand Turks if you're going on a cruise ship. If you just want to have one flight in here and you don't want to take one of the puddle jumpers, go into some of the other islands, then you're going to be here in Provo, okay? And the thing is, when you do come here, there's different ways you can get around, but most of the time you're going to take a taxi when you are here. But I will tell you, the taxis here in Turks and Caicos, they are expensive. Also, they charge per person, so you might have other people in your taxi as well. And a lot of times the taxi will be like a van kind of thing, so it's no real big deal. But do have a heads up because the taxi prices can really kick up your bills really quickly. So what you might want to look at, if you're going to do a lot of driving around one specific island, maybe rent a car for that day. Even for a day can save you a lot of money versus taking a bunch of taxis, especially if you're a group of 2 or 3 or 4 people. It can really save you some money that way. Now, when you are driving around, one thing you should know is they drive on the left here. This is an old British colony and they still have the driving on the left. So do be careful. So make sure you're staying on the left when you're there. And what can throw you off is you'll see cars here that have the US version of the cars, you know, with the steering wheel on the left, and then you have to see the British ones with the steering wheels on the right, and it can throw people off. So just remember, you drive on the left here. And that's also important because a lot of the accommodations will actually let you have a bike and you can ride around real easily. But I will tell you, what I recommend if you're going to be taking a bike or renting bikes or scooters and stuff like that, I do recommend you kind of stay on the resort streets versus that big highway, especially here by Provo, because there's a lot of traffic there and it can get a little dangerous. So I do recommend if you're gonna be having the bikes, stay on the tourist side of stuff instead of like going on the big roads, because it can be a bit scary. So make sure, even if on your bike or you're driving, stay on the left when you go, okay? Now, another thing people like to ask when they're going different places is, hey, Mark, what language do they speak in Turks? Well, in Turks and Caicos, they speak English, okay? So you'll be fine. If you're an English speaker, you'll be okay. You speak English. I mean, everyone speaks English here, no problem. You will hear kind of a little Creole here as well, so that might be another influence, but everyone will speak English to you, so just pay attention. You'll be just fine with that. So you don't have to worry about the English thing. I mean, that's why this is so easy. It's close to the US, they speak English. Oh, also, if you look at money, they use the US dollar here. Yes, I know this is a former British colony, but they actually use the US dollar when you are here. So the ATMs spit out US dollars. So I recommend bringing some cash when you come, okay? But I will say a lot of places do take credit cards. I haven't seen a lot of taxis though. So that's where you really need the cash, is to pay the taxis and stuff like that. But in general, most of the places I've seen will take Visa and MasterCard. Some do take American Express as well. So you will have that. So that's a nice, helpful thing, because you're going to need that credit card, because coming to Turks and Caicos is extremely expensive. I'm not saying it's a little expensive. It is expensive. Your typical entree dinner at a lot of the places we've gone to, about $40 for the entree. The lunch special might be about 20 bucks, 18 to 20 bucks. I know if you're coming from like a New York City and stuff like that, you're like, well, that's not too big of a difference. Well, the thing is that this is island prices here. It is very expensive when you come here. The thing is though, the reason that is because Turks and Caicos, they're islands, so everything has to be brought in, and there's no really big port. I mean, I know the cruise ships come in at Grand Turk, but in general, you can't get a lot of stuff here very cheaply. So the prices are quite elevated. So what I recommend, a lot of people, they'll either get an Airbnb or they'll get like an apartment in a hotel kind of thing, or a suite that has its own kitchen or kitchenette. Use that to your advantage. I mean, there's an IGA here if you want to go to. There's all kinds of grocery stores and mini markets you can go to. Now, I'm not going to say those are cheap either, because those can be expensive too, but it is cheaper than going out to eat all the time, and it can really save you a lot of money in your pocket. Now, some other things that are going to be expensive when you're here is the accommodation. Now, if you're looking at where you're going to stay, there are resorts here. The all-inclusive kind of stuff like beaches, they have that. There's Club Med, which is actually right over there. We're at the Oasis, which is just a normal hotel suite kind of thing. All of them really pretty much be the same kind of thing. You got your room, you might have a little like sitting area or something like that if you get the suites, and then there's a pool on property, and they'll have transportation to the beach, okay? And some of them will have their own little beach location. Like behind me, you've got the Oasis beach guys there. They'll get you, your beach towels and stuff like that. Use your own resort or your own accommodations beach place, because it can save you money as well, because there's no reason to pay for stuff if you don't need to when you're here. Now, another thing I'll tell you about the accommodation, in terms of the prices, what I would consider probably a $200 accommodation in like a medium-sized US city or a medium-sized European city is going to run you in high season about $500. And the high seasons, January and December, and also April for the spring break travelers, those are going to be your highest, wallet gut punch visits to Turks and Caicos. But I will say, in terms of saving some money, if you're going to be out here on the beach and you're going to sign up for tours and stuff like that, like with the people directly on the beach, like on the sailboards and stuff like that, you can negotiate with them for a lower price, especially if you're going to do like a private tour. I know for us, we went out conch diving and we negotiated a much better price than was initially offered to us by the guys on the beach, because the thing is here, the people on the beach work on commission. So whatever you do, if you have their name, give their name, they're going to get a kickback to it. Now, that doesn't affect the price you have because you negotiate that, or it's a standard fare. That is how they make their money. So do have a heads up when you do get recommendations for stuff, because that can influence some things. But in general, I found that people on the beach that recommend you stuff, they're good people. Nothing we've done has been bad here. I mean, everyone's hooked us up really nicely. I know when we went conch diving, the guys on the beach down here hooked us up with a captain. He took us out with a diver. We went down. I got to go down and dive stuff. They cleaned out the conch for us. They gave us the conch. We got to keep the shells, but also they gave us the conch and cleaned it for us. So we actually made ceviche with conch in our hotel. I mean, it's been a really cool thing. And the people here are nice, but I will say, because of all the tourism, they kind of have that tourism shield, like I'll do the tourism stuff, but once you talk to them, that's when they really open up and become friendly and fun and stuff like that. And if you go out of the way to learn more about them, you get a lot lot of, hey, respect kind of stuff, which is really kind of a cool thing here. Now, when you are in your hotels, you're going other places, a lot of people want to know, is like, Mark, will I have good Wi-Fi when I'm there? Or how will my cell service be? Look, we've been around, I mean, Providenciales, Provo, we've gone to Iguana Island, we've gone out down that way, we've seen some of the other islands. I've had my 4G connection all the time. Now, I could watch a YouTube video just fine, but sometimes it would lag a little bit occasionally when I was like out on the sea. So you'll be fine with that in terms of your cell phone coverage. At the resorts, Wi-Fi with all the places we've gone, we've seen it on the beach as well, that sometimes have Wi-Fi on the beach too. Those have all been okay, so we could stream stuff onto Netflix or Hulu or whatever, no big deal that way. So that's been pretty cool. So you'll be okay staying connected when you're on the beach. So you might want to play, you know, Words with Friends while you're laying on the beach, looking at the beach saying, yes, you beat me at this game, but I beat you with this view, okay? So you do have that. Now, the next thing people like to talk about is the food when they are here. And I'll be honest, the biggest, most important food you're gonna have when you are here in Turks and Caicos is, like I said before, conch. Those conch shells that you'll step on and they'll hurt you, so be careful. The conch inside is wonderful. It's a mollusk you'll have. And what's cool is they serve it in all kinds of different ways, but probably my personal favorite is what's called cracked conch. And that cracked conch, what they do is they'll take the conch out and they clean it and all those things. They'll cut it like into strips, lightly batter it and fry it. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite. You'll get that a lot of places, okay? But probably the conch you'll see the most is actually conch fritters, which is basically like a hush puppy with conch kind of put into the side of the hush puppy. So they'll put it with some breading and stuff like that and then fry it up. That's good, but nowhere near as good as cracked conch in my opinion, but you will see the conch fritters more places. Another thing you'll see is conch salad. We'll have a salad with a little conch on. They'll cut up the conch and have it on there. Conch ceviche. I mean, that's what we've made in our hotel because we caught our own conch. They clean it for us. We dice it up, put it with some lime juice, lemon, some orange, little onion. Oh, the peppers that are here, the Scotch bonnet peppers. Oh my God. Fantastic to have. So definitely have conch when you're here. Another thing you want to have is the lobster. Now the lobster here, oh my, I mean, it is to die for, but the thing is I'm here out of season. So if you're here basically April through kind of August, you're not going to get the lobster. Any other time of the year, you know, when most of the tourists come is outside those times, you will be able to have that, and the lobster is awesome. But once the season's over, it might be on the menu, but you're not going to get it, okay? Now, obviously, when you're on a set of islands like this, other seafood is going to be very abundant as well. So the fish here has been great. We've had saltfish, we've had grouper, we've had snapper. I mean, it's just been a seafood delight. And what I've found is the food here is really good. I mean, you pay a lot for the food. I'm not gonna lie to you for that. But honestly, I've never been disappointed with the food. So though the price might have been high, I'm like, yeah, that was worth it. I mean, I had ravioli with conch on top and all kinds of stuff. It's really wonderful. So you will eat well. Now, for those of you that get tired of seafood quickly, don't worry, they have plenty of other food to have when you are here. Remember, this is a former British colony, so you might have, well, it's not really not, you'll have a conch patty. Yeah, they'll have maybe one of those or some other patties that are out there. Beef burgers, I've seen those, tons of menus here. Obviously pizza for kids because a lot of the people bring their families here. So there's a lot of food options, but honestly, save some money, go to the store and have some food at your accommodation if you're not an all-inclusive, because that can save some big bucks for you. But man, the seafood here, that's what you're going for. And in terms of what you're gonna drink here, you can drink the water here. Now, the tap water doesn't taste very good, but you can drink it, it's okay. The two big kind of drinks you'll have, like adult drinks, there's Turk's Head beer. Okay, there's lager, amber, they got an IPA. There's a lot of different ones they have. You can try those. Our friend Donna, who comes here often, she like, please just go and drink Turk's Head for me. She loves it. It's pretty good beer in general, I'd say. And then there's rum, and rum's the big thing here, and you're gonna have it in tons of different mixed drinks. So imagine fruity mixed drinks with rum. You have plenty of those when you are here. So talking about eating and drinking when you are in Turks and Caicos kind of leads into the service aspect of the country. Remember, you're on an island and you need to think island time. Everything takes a bit longer, whether it's getting your order put in, getting your drink, getting your bill, getting the tour set up, things like that. You gotta have patience when you are here with the service. Now, I find that people are friendly, like I said before, but just know you got to be a little bit slower with that service. Just have that in your mind, okay? And another thing I should talk about with the service is you actually do tip here. Now, some places will already put like a 10% service charge on there, so there is that. But here you tip about 15 to 20%, like in the US. But I do say is look on that bill to see if that service charge is on there. Also, don't think that the price that you see in the restaurant or on the price tag on your thing is the end price. They also have sales tax here as well in Turks and Caicos, so that will kick up the price as well. Oh, another thing I probably should talk about, if you're gonna be here, some people wanna know, what are the plugs like here? The plugs in your hotel and all around, they're like the US plugs, you know, the 2 prongs like this with a dot in the bottom. They have that. That's where you're gonna see. So you will have that. We haven't had any problems with electricity while we've been here, so that's been a nice, cool thing. We can charge our devices, no big deal. But if you're coming from Europe or you're coming from Australia, you will need to get that converter to switch to like the US plugs. And when you are coming here, no matter where you're gonna come, you might wanna know is what you should pack. We have a big in-depth video on what to pack for Turks and Caicos, but basically really good bug spray, because the bugs are the no-see-ums, the mosquitoes, the no-see-ums that are here. They will get you, they will eat you alive. Good sunblock is always important, but basically this is a very relaxed thing. So it's like resort wear. So shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops, you'll be fine. I will say is make sure if you're gonna go to like Iguana Island or other places, wear your flip-flops. Don't just walk on the beach without your shoes on if you're gonna go into like the brambles and stuff or the overgrowth, because there they actually do have some sand spurs, which can be a little painful, especially for the little ones. So make sure you have some wear. For the little ones as well, I'd always have like a rash guard. Just do that because the sun here is very strong. Now in terms of some other safety things I want to talk about at the beach, you know, the sun we already mentioned, but if you're going to go diving or snorkeling or anything like that, well, diving for conch, make sure you tell the person you're diving with your level of ability. If you never snorkeled before, let them know, because they'll help you. They want to help you out. But if you know what you're doing, I mean, we were diving down 14 to 20 feet to go grab our conch shells. Jocelyn couldn't get all the way down at some parts of it and came up, and so she got worried. And they're like, hey, it's okay, we'll help you out. I know we were on when we did our snorkeling tour, there was a kid that was having a little trouble. Guy put him on a little ring and then floated him around to see stuff. So there are those things. In terms of in the town, usually at night you're not going out. This is not a big party location, so there's not like bars and clubs you're really going to go to. Most of your night entertainment is going to be on property, so grab some of that rum and some Turk's Head and have it, you know, on your balcony looking over the beach and stuff like that when you're here. That's the best way to go. If you are going to rent a car and you're going to go down some of the back roads, that might be where you want to take care and be careful with. Don't leave anything of value in your cars and stuff like that, just like anywhere else you go. And use your usual travel sense when you are here. That'll help you out quite a bit. And one little last safety thing I want to talk about is when you're on the beach, you'll see potcakes. If you're not sure what potcakes are, those are just the stray dogs you'll see on the beach. Now, some beaches there aren't any on there, but if you're like at the Conch shack, you'll see a lot. And there are a lot of stray dogs here in Turks and Caicos. But basically, I've seen most of them kind of like really chill. I mean, maybe it's just the island vibe they have, but they have been chill. And do be careful, because if you fall in love with one, there's actually an association here that you can send them a picture of your dog at the beach you're in, send it to them. They will go get the dog, clean them up, deworm them, do all the stuff, so you can take it home with you at the end of your vacation. So be careful. If your wife really loves dogs, she's going to try to talk you into taking one home. But you got to be strong if you don't want to take one, okay? Just words of advice from a friend, okay? Anyway, we've really enjoyed our time here in Turks and Caicos, because it really is a beach and relaxed kind of place. If you're looking for like parties and all night party stuff and things like that, I'm going to say Turks and Caicos isn't for you. If you want to go enjoy the beach, enjoy the sun, enjoy relaxing and sitting back and having some great food, then Turks and Caicos is definitely for you. Anyway, I hope this helps you. If you want to learn more, we got one video on the don'ts of Turks and Caicos. We got a video on packing for Turks and Caicos, a video on a little more in depth about the food here, all on our website at woltersworld.com. Also, if you like honest travel videos like this that can help you travel better without all the extra fluff, click subscribe and click that notification bell, and you'll get our new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, because we love to help other real travelers like you find out more about the world and enjoy more of the cultures out there. So also, we want to say a big thank you to all our patrons on Patreon who help make videos like this possible. If you want to learn how you can help us make more honest travel videos, go to patreon.com/woltersworld to find out more. And I will say bye from here in Turks and Caicos, because the sun's out, the beach is calling me, and it's time to relax. Bye from Turks and Caicos.